Hi everyone. If you're tuning in, it's Monday, April 6th, and you are here for one of our first remote learning sessions for AP Lit. Hope you're all doing well and staying healthy and doing the best you can in this strange time that we're in. The AP board, College Board, has announced that our exam is going to be scheduled for Wednesday, May 13th. Wednesday, May 13th, so put it in your calendars. There's only going to be one essay. It's a shortened 45-minute exam, and the essay is the prose essay. We're given a piece of fiction, whether it's a play or an excerpt from a novel, and asked to write a response to a question in relation to character, setting, plot, narrator, that sort of thing. So over the next 5 weeks, we're going to approach a prompt a week, look at the question that it's asking, analyze together, and write some pieces to get some feedbacks that we feel really comfortable with this exam. So let's get started. So first thing, if you log into Schoology, you'll see there's a new folder at the top of our homepage labeled Remote Learning Resources. And if you click on that, that's where all of our materials for the coming weeks are going to be posted. You can see last week's assignment, the must-do from the activity grid, is there. There's a discussion thread for questions on the upcoming exam. And then each week, I'm going to be posting a prose activity that relates to one of the 5 kinds of topics that a prose question could discuss. Whether it's character, which we're looking at this week, next week will be on setting, the following week on plot and structure, and so on. I'm only publishing one a week so no one feels overwhelmed. So this week's focus is on plot, prose, and character. And so we're going to be looking at an excerpt from the Brighton Beach Memoirs, which I'm going to be annotating live now. To do that. But in this video, I am just going to read through and annotate live, so it might accelerate the insight a little bit and help you look at some things that maybe you hadn't considered before. I'm going to go into Notability because I've learned how to do that now. And I've already uploaded this document. And if at any time you're like, I think I got this, I want to move on, you're welcome to do so. But I'm really going to read through the whole thing, prompt included, and annotate as I go through. So it'll be stop and go. So I really suggest maybe you read through it once before you do this activity, because I'm going to stop and go through it. And sometimes it's helpful to read it beginning to end first. So if you want to do that first, just pause the video, take a couple minutes to read, and then press play again. But all right, so this is for the week of April 6th. It's Brighton Beach Memoirs. It's a prose analysis with focus on character, which is skill 1 for AP Literature. And if at any time my dog barks in the background, I apologize, but we're going to get through it. All right, so the prompt. The following excerpt is from the play Brighton Beach Memoirs by Neil Simon, first performed in 1982. All right, so this is pretty modern. In the passage, 2 sisters discuss their family and living situation. The older sister, Nora, wishes to leave home and become an actress, but needs her Uncle Jack's permission. Read the passage carefully. Write a thesis statement that you might use for an essay that analyzes how Simon uses literary elements and techniques to inform the reader's understanding of Nora's complex motivations. Write a paragraph in support of your thesis that uses at least one piece of evidence from the text. All right, so keep in mind, guys, for this week, it's just asking for a paragraph, not a whole essay. But looking at this prompt, it's a play, and we're looking at how the author, Neil Simon, uses literary elements and techniques to inform the reader's understanding of Nora's complex motivations. All right, so first, complex. I really zone in on that. We've talked about this word before. If something is complex, it means it has moving parts. It means there's more than one thing going on. She doesn't just have one motivation. They're complex. There's a lot going on for her. So already going in, we know that her motivation isn't just X. It might be X and Y or X, Y, and Z. All right. So let's see. The prompt... Oh, let me undo that. The prompt, you should do the following. Respond to the prompt with a thesis that presents an interpretation and may establish a line of reasoning. So you have your thesis. Don't just say, Simon uses literary elements and techniques to inform the reader of her complex motivations. Gives a thesis statement. What are those complex motivations? What devices and elements are used? What techniques are used to show those motivations? That's your thesis. Don't just turn the question around. What are Nora's motivations? You have to put that into words. Select evidence to develop and support your line of reasoning. Explain the relationship between the evidence and your thesis. Use appropriate grammar and punctuation. So yes, that still counts. Spelling and grammar counts. But just like always, I think I'll do pink. You want to make sure that all of your evidence responds somehow, ties to your thesis, and that you explain how the evidence connects to your thesis. So make sure you have a nice unity of purpose, all the moving parts work together. So we're reading this, paying attention to Nora's complex motivations. So let's go. This girl, we know she wants to be an actress, but she needs her uncle's permission. So there are some tensions going on. And let's begin. Our attention goes to the two girls upstairs in their room. Nora is crying. Lori sits on the twin bed opposite her, watching. So right from the get-go, we know if a character is crying, she is not happy. She is very upset. Something's happened to upset her. All right. Lori says, so, what are you going to do? That's probably in relation to her wanting to be an actress and Uncle Jack saying no or something like that. Nora, I don't know. Leave me alone. Don't just sit there watching me. So she's upset. Like most people, she wants to be left alone. She doesn't want someone watching her crying. So she's upset. Lori, it's my room as much as yours. Oh, such a sibling, saying, you can't make me leave the room. I don't have to leave if I don't want to. Nora, do you have to stare at me? Can't I have any privacy? Lori, I'm staring into space. I can't help it if your body interferes. There's a pause. I bet you're worried. How would you feel if your entire life depended on what your Uncle Jack decided? Oh God, I wish Daddy were alive. All right, so my entire life depends on what my Uncle Jack decides. This character's feeling pretty helpless, feeling pretty hopeless if they think that one person holds the key to their future. And the fact that she wishes her dad's alive probably implies that she thinks her dad would be more understanding than her Uncle Jack. And she calls him Daddy, which is a nice term of endearment. Lori, he would have said no. He was really strict. Nora, not with me. I mean, he was strict, but he was fair. If he said no, he always gave you a good reason. He always talked things out. I wish I could call him somewhere now and ask him what to do. 1 3-minute call to heaven is all that I ask. So in this passage, he always talked things out. He let Nora be heard. Maybe she doesn't feel like she's being heard anymore. Lori, ask Mom. She talks to him every night. Who told you that? She did. Every night before she goes to bed. She put his picture on her pillow and talks to him. Then she put the blankets halfway up the picture and goes to sleep. Aw. Nora, she does not. Lori, she does too. Last year when I had the big fever, I slept in bed with both of them. In the middle of the night, my face fell on his picture and cut my nose. So when she says with both of them, she's talking about Mom and the picture. Their dad wasn't alive then. Nora, she never told me that. That's weird. Lori, I can't remember him much anymore. I used to remember him real good, but now he disappears a little bit every day. Oh God, he was so handsome, always dressed so dapper, his shoes always shined. I always thought he should have been a movie star, like Gary Cooper. Only very short. Mostly I remember his pockets. All right, so Dad was handsome, he was dapper, he was shined, he could have been a movie star. Clearly, Nora idolizes her father. Okay. All those words, that diction kind of implies she idolizes him and seems to remember his pockets. His pockets? Nora. When I was 6 or 7, he always brought me home a little surprise, like a Hershey or a top. He'd tell me to go get it in his coat pocket. So I'd run to the closet and put my hand in, and it felt as big as a tent. I wanted to crawl in there and go to sleep. And there were all these terrific things in there, like juicy fruit gum or spearmint lifesavers and bits of cellophane and crumbled pieces of tobacco and movie stubs and nickels and pennies and rubber bands and paper clips and his gray suede gloves that he wore in the wintertime with the stitched lines down the fingers. I remember. Nora. Then I found his coat in Mom's closet, and I put my hand in the pocket, and everything was gone. It was emptied and dry cleaned, and it felt cold. And that's when I knew he was really dead. Oh God, I wish we had our own place to live. I hate being a boarder. Listen, let's make a pact. The first one who makes enough money promises not to spend any on herself, but saves it all to get a house for you, me, and Mom. That means every penny we get from now on, we save for the house. We can't buy anything. No lipstick or magazines or nail polish or bubble gum. Nothing. Is it a pact? What about the movies? Movies too. Starting when? Starting today. Starting right now. Can we start Sunday? I wanted to see The Thin Man. Who's in it? William Powell and Myrna Loy. Okay, starting Sunday. I'll go with you on Saturday. They shake hands, sealing their pact, then both lie down in their respective beds and stare at the ceiling, contemplating their future home. All right, so in this last passage, Nora has this idea. Right here. The first one who makes enough money promises not to spend any on herself, but get a house for you, me, and Mom. So she wants that house, because what's her motivation? What does she want? How would you put that into words? I'm not going to say it out loud, because I want you to come up with it. Okay, but that's what she wants to do. She wants to get that house and move away and not have to listen to her Uncle Jack decide her future. And she says, so we can't buy anything. And then Lori, who seems to be the little sister since initially she says she can't remember her dad too well. Lori says, what about the movies? Nora says movies too. But then when Lori says, can we start Sunday? I wanted to see The Thin Man. Nora doesn't say no. She says, who's in it? Instead of saying no. And then she goes on to say, all right, we can start on Sunday. I'll go with you on Saturday. So she's like convinced to still go to the movie. So while she has this motive to be free, to have the house, to be an actress and live her own free life, there's also this sort of motivation going on. She doesn't want to necessarily not go to the movies on Saturday. So she has these conflicting, complex motivations. And I think you could probably make something out of this whole idea about the memory of her dad, like what else motivates her. You could make something out of that. But again, we read through it. Let's respond to the prompt. Let's look at it again. Write a thesis statement that you might use for an essay that analyzes how Simon uses literary elements and techniques to inform the reader's understanding of Nora's complex motivations. So what's a technique that's used to show her motivations? And what devices and elements are used to support that technique? Write a paragraph in support of your thesis that uses at least one piece of evidence from the text. And that is your prompt. I don't want to give you much more. I want you to take it and run with it. But remember, all this week, I'm available to conference. Whatever you submit, I'm going to give you feedback. So do your best work so I can give you my best possible response. So happy writing. All right, everyone, so I hope you found that helpful. We've been through our first week's lesson, and the next step is to write the paragraph that goes along with this prompt, and it needs to be uploaded by next Monday. The sooner you upload, the sooner I can give feedback, but there's no pressure to get it in before Monday. I'll be giving you feedback in real time, so if you upload sooner, I'll give you feedback sooner, and so on. So if anything comes up, please don't hesitate to reach out. Hope everyone's feeling healthy and feeling well, and I hope to talk to you soon. Bye.